All right, hello there. I am Puppo1, and this is AOS King of the Coliseum 2. Yes, we're finally starting this series, and it's going to start off with 7 championships and only 2 divisions. You already know what the 2 divisions are going to be. The 2 divisions are going to be the freestyle pro wrestling and freestyle mixed martial arts. But before we get started with all that, I got one point to make. And this is not no they stole their style or this, that, the other. I just like the fact that the games are similar, and it's great that there's a 3D version out there. So let me just say that for first and foremost, because King of the Coliseum 2 is basically what they should have did with Fire Pro Wrestling Returns. Made it 3D. Okay? And I'm glad that there's a game out there that's similar to it that's in 3D. I don't care nothing about, oh man, they stole Fire Pro Wrestling style or whatever the heck it is. I'm just glad that the game exists. King of the Coliseum 2, okay? Because, like, for as much as I like Fire Pro Wrestling Returns, I wouldn't want to play it because I just prefer wrestling games that are 3D, man. I just do, man. But enough about all that. Let's go ahead and start talking about AOS King of the Coliseum 2. So, as I said before, we got MMA, freestyle MMA, my bad, freestyle mixed martial arts. So, these are the rules for that. So, we have 10-minute infinite rounds. If you want reference to a game that use infinite rounds, look at Geraldine, Break Bro, Fist or Twist. Anybody's videos on there on YouTube, you know? The down 10 count is turned on. One reference to that. AOS Virtual Pro Wrestling 2, the KO division. That's all I'm going to say. The KO division perfectly represents that. But this game does it better because, like I said, similar to Fire Pro Wrestling, which is, to me, the best series in the world as far as like simulation and stuff like that. I may not never play the game, but like the simulation is pretty good as far as like what it incorporates with games, stuff like that. So, and like the KO division, as much as I like my KO division on the Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 game or whatever like that, I don't like the fact that you'll never see a 10 count. I rarely see 10 counts ever on that game. Shoot, and I got the shit for title matches set to 15. 15 knockdowns. And I got it set to quick match now. And we still rarely see KOs and stuff. You'll see 15 knockdowns instead of seeing 8 or 7 or 10 or 12 or 14 of them. And then on the 14th one, it's a 10 count. You know? Messed up, man. But like this game actually does it better, or whatever like that. So I'm okay with the down 10 count. But that's what it's similar to if you was looking for a reference. We also have rope breakers turned off. We also have lumberjack, which is turned on because yeah, it's MMA rules. Why would they leave the ring? And then we have the ramp not connected to the ring because if you can't win by 10 count or critical or knockout or submission, why even have them fight on outside the ring on the ramp? And then we have critical rate set to high. If I can help it, all the matches will have the critical rate set to high on the game. If I can help it, and yeah, that's something else that's similar to Fire Pro Wrestling, but they only took the good parts from that game, and like I like that. If they did get their references from that, which more likely they did, I'm okay with that. Take everything that's good about another game and put in your game. That's what a smart game developer would do. Okay? Here go how you see it on here on the screen or wherever like that. And then we can go over here to freestyle PW or pro wrestling. And basically, we got 15 minutes infinite rounds. I already explained what the down 10 count stuff is and the critical rate. But rope break is turned on because it's a pro wrestling match. And then we have lumberjack turned off with, the standard Japanese 20-second count out or whatever like that. And the ramp is connected for them to fight on the outside of the ring. Even if they can't win by pinfall submission on the outside of the ring, I still got it turned on or whatever like that. Okay. So, oh, my bad. I forgot to do this. Move this over. And one more thing. Yeah, this is set to 15, and then the MMA is set to 10 or whatever like that. I just thought if I'm gonna do infinite rounds with the MMA, I might as well do infinite rounds with the pro wrestling. I didn't even think pro wrestling rule set on this game could have infinite rounds. I was shocked to learn that. I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely using rounds with pro wrestling as well. So that's cool to know or whatever like that. As you can always see, we got the 200% speed, 200% speed or whatever like that. That's because like at normal 100 speed, the game moves kind of slow. And I'm not talking about just because of the emulator I'm using or anything like that, but I watch YouTube videos of the same gameplay, stuff like that, and they are moving kind of slow. So moved it up to 200% speed, and I like it better at that. I can't always see what strike they threw or whatever like that, but like I do not care. It just feels and looks better with it at 200% speed. So that's what the game be. It's always gonna be at the highest difficulty, and it's computer level 8 for this game. And yeah, we got symbols right here next to everything for what everything stands for the champion, number one contender, hunter, wild card, and fifth spot, and that's the order which they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You already know that slot 1 and slot 8 are used for freestyle MMA, and slot 1 is for the title match rules, and that was what I was showing you earlier with the 10-minute infinite rounds. That's for the title match rules. I forget how many rounds it's set to for the slot 8. I think it may be set to 6 rounds. Or no, it's set to 3 rounds. It's only 30 minutes for the tournaments and stuff like that. It's set to 3 because there's no 6 that you can set to. You can set it to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I think then it's 10 or something. Yeah, so it's set to 3 10-minute rounds for the tournament, and then freestyle pro wrestling has slot 2 and slot 9, and 15-minute infinite rounds, which is the title match for freestyle PW, and then for the leagues and tournaments we have it set to 2 15-minute rounds because it gotta be the same. I can't have pro wrestling be an hour and then I can only do 15 minutes or so with the MMA. So they just set for 2 15-minute rounds, that's 30 minutes, 3 10-minute rounds, that's 30 minutes. So that's how it goes with all that. Slot 3 will be used for Vale Tudo, Ultimate Crush, U-Style, MUGA, and American PW, and Pure Risu. I'm just going to call it Pure Risu. That O is an E to me. Pure Risu. Yeah. But I won't keep on butchering with trying to pronounce it. Pure Risu. Okay. So we're gonna talk about those real quick. Yeah, those, however. So Pure Risu is basically the standard match mode on here or whatever like that. So basically, win by pinfall or submission. There's rope breaking. I think possibly the 20 count on the outside of the ring. So the standard pro wrestling stuff. And American PW, which is down here, they got 2 traits on here. They got the superstar trait and the one-hit finisher trait. The superstar trait allows characters to power up by using taunts, and then the one-hit finisher trait allows finishers to do way more damage so that the matches will be will end quicker. So, you hit the finisher, you're closer to ending the match. So probably take two finishers, three at the most to end a match or something like that. But I would rather it be based on what type of finisher you use it. Because if you're using some shitty finisher and that ending the match, that's kind of crappy to me as well, man. I don't want a simple DDT to pin me or something like that. It gotta be, what was it, the Impaler DDT or what, the Even Flow DDT, or what was it? On the game it looks cool, but it's just a regular DDT. But Raven's DDT, I think that was called Even Flow, right? His DDT, yeah. The Tommy Dreamer or Mankind. I mean, not Mankind, but Cactus Jack. Well, it's Mick Foley. Both are Mick Foley, but when he was Cactus Jack, that double underhook DDT, the double underhook DDT or whatever like that. But like, yeah, that's basically what that is, or like that. So, basically WWF slash WWE style of pro wrestling or whatever like that. The American style. Well, the 80s, I would say before the 80s, the 90s, 2000, 2010s, 2000 and 2010s, and then nowadays they do have them hitting the finisher more than once, but that's when they go to get certain opponents and stuff. Yeah. Now let's move on to Ultimate Crush. Basically modern MMA rules or whatever like that. 3 5-minute rounds win by KO or submission or whatever like that. And yeah, that is. I can't say that it's UFC. The rules are similar, but I'm not sure if it's the 10 count is being used on this. The down 10 count is being used on this, or it's just the critical or whatever like that. But like, that's what's going on with that. So, you know, so that goes with that. And then we got the U style, which uses the UWF rule set. Burning Pro Wrestling for the Super Nintendo has that move set on there. I mean, got that rule set on there. I'm not sure if there's a Fire Pro Wrestling game that has that move set on there. But basically, if you're looking for reference, as far as like stuff off of my channel, look at AOS Virtual Pro Wrestling 2, the Combatants Championship. Because like they have it like, do takedowns or something. I think you can get points for that. You get points if you make your opponent use a rope escape. And then if you get knocked down, I think that's also some points or something. Yeah. Something similar to that. And then, and this has rounds to it. Yeah, this has rounds to it. Yeah. No, I meant the Vale Tudo has rounds to it. Yeah, I didn't know that. Because I thought Vale Tudo used to be just whoever wins one round or whatever like that. But it has rounds to it. And you can even set it to infinite. I didn't know that with Vale Tudo. Okay. That's probably why freestyle I'm able to set it to infinite. Thank you, Vale Tudo. Oh yeah, MUGA is basically a hardcore match. False count anywhere match. So you can win on the inside of the ring or the outside of the ring. That's why I believe it to be, or whatever like that. So yeah, that's a hardcore match or wherever. So yeah, that's how that goes with that sort of thing. I was thinking of, because I already created the stuff, because we're going to go in here onto this now. I was thinking that I would put that as a fatal 4-way, because we got all the ways to win: pinfall, submission, 10 count, and also you can win by critical and stuff like that. I was going to put that as like a fatal 4-way with the champion or whatever like that, but the crowning tournament is going to have it set up like this. I may change it in the future, because I changed AOS Virtual Pro Wrestling 2, all their divisions been changed so many times. The rule sets been changed so many times for all those divisions and the championship. So who knows what the future holds and stuff like that. Yeah. Oh, I ain't even talk about this stuff at the top. So yeah, the first tournament is gonna be Freestyle Pro Wrestling, and we're gonna have a 128-man crowning tournament, and out of that we'll find ranks 1 through 8. Subtract those 8, and you'll get 120-man crowning tournament for freestyle mixed martial arts. You're gonna subtract those 8, and you'll get 112. But there's 3 characters that kept off the game. We'll talk about them in a second, and that's what we're going to add back to the game. And then we're going to have a 115 man, or I should have had to say wrestlers, but basically it's going to be 5 23-man crowning tournaments for these 5 right here. As you can see right there, we got Pure Risu / American PW. They're going to be sharing the championship. So we're going to do Pure Risu as the round of 8. And then for the semifinals, we'll use the American PW style. And then we'll go back to Pure Risu for like the title match. But as far as, for the finals, because it's going to be 3 8-man tournaments or whatever. And then for the final 3, we're basically going to do 6 matches in total, because we're going to do each of them go against each other first in American PW. And then all 3 of them will go against each other again in Pure Risu rule set or match style or whatever like that. And you also see the Vale Tudo and stuff like Vale Tudo, Ultimate Crush, U-Style, and MUGA, or like that. So that's basically how we're going to conduct all this stuff. Now, like I said, the 3 characters is not going to be utilized are these 3 right here: Masawa, Kenta Kawabushi, and K. Wilder. Because I was like, I can't figure out who would be characters of that. We could just leave out these first 2 tournaments who are not good wrestlers, because I don't know any of the wrestlers like that. I watch Japanese pro wrestling, but I don't watch it as often or able to keep up with it as much. And so I was like, I'll just take my 3 favorite characters that are like, I don't mean to exclude them, but like, hey, I feel like they'll be able to become champions eventually with those other 2 divisions if they feel like it. So them being excluded is not really big deal. They're just 3 legends I just said, you know what, we'll just put y'all to the side. There's more than 3, There's Kichi, Moto, Boho, and what's the other ones? I forget. What's the other ones that I was gonna say? Oh, Jun Akiyama. There's Akira Teyu. There's, what's the old boy's name? Jumbo Saruto. I'm not sure if he's already on the game or you gotta lock him or whatever like that. There's a bunch of characters on here that I know from Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 that I feel like I could just left off and stuff like that. But it's too many of them to keep up with, because look, I already got the stuff set up for group 1 of 8 for this stuff. I already got everything set up for group 1 of 8 for all this stuff or whatever like that. So, and like, that's what we're starting with. This and I know how to skip it, for I won't use 43, 59, and 72. And I'll just tell you about it real quick, and then we can end the video. So basically, 1, then the next one is going to be 9, because you just add plus 8 to get to the next one. Then plus 8 again will give you 17 for the third one. Plus 8 again will give you 25 for the fourth one, and then plus 8 again will give you what, 33 for the fifth one. For the 41st one, I mean for number 6, you'll get 41 because that's another plus 8. Then you gotta do plus 9 because Masawa is not gonna be utilized. So since Masawa is not gonna be utilized, we gotta do plus 9, and that'll give us 50. Then we go back to doing plus 8, and then we get 58, and then we do plus 9 again because 59 is not going to be utilized, so that's why that is 70, that's 67, and then it goes up to, what is it? Oh wait, that's just different because of the numbers are higher or whatever like that. So yeah, that don't matter. All right. And then, yeah, it goes up to 76 because, 72 is not being utilized. So that's a plus 9. Then go back to plus 8, 84, 92, 100, 108, 116, and 124. And because there's 131 characters, you got what? What? One, two, you got 7 more, which is 24. 124 plus 7 gives you 131 because there's going to be 7 more groups to be utilized and stuff like that. So that's how you go about doing that. I just know how to skip it and stuff like that, do the math correctly to skip everything. So yeah, that's basically what we're going to be doing. I should just probably just leave it right here or whatever like that in the video right there, but I'll put it back up here at the top. And this was the introduction, and I'm gonna put this right here. Yeah, let me put this right here because it's able to fit right here. Put part 1. And we'll do that for the series and stuff like that because we could go into the YouTube and stuff like that because, like, where is it at? The videos or whatever like that. Because, like, with this series, I also got this on here where we can just go to where it says edit. And in the description, I got round of 56 group 2 or whatever like that, so I'll put the reference in for like what the heck it is for the tournaments and stuff like that, like what the video is about. I'll put that in the description. I ain't gonna put I would put the times. I would go back and put the times for when matches start, but you can always just fast forward. My videos, I try to not make them an hour long or stuff like that. I try to keep them under 30 minutes if I can, but if certain matches going to take more than an hour, so be it. If it's going to take over an hour because certain matches, and so be it, but I try to keep it under that, however, under half an hour or around a half an hour, But yeah, that's pretty much everything there is to know. Once again, this was the introduction to AOS, AOS King of Council 2, I almost said Virtual Pro Wrestling 2. And we can take this off of here. Yeah, yep. So this is now, boom. This is now an officially AOS King of the Coliseum 2. So now that is set up like that, and that's what this is going to be indefinitely. And I guess I'll move this down one. Yep. So, yep, that's how this is going to be from now on. Alright. So, to the next one, later, I hope you enjoy. Alright.